This video is for those of you that hunt during the daytime and in states where you're only allowed to hunt during the daytime. We want to begin this session by asking you for your comments and tips, tricks, and techniques within the comments that you've used to be a successful daytime coyote hunter.
And not just one time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What not your just this one time repetition. Like what really has worked for you over the course of time.
Yeah, because what we believe is that you are hunting an animal that is far less responsive to calls than ours are during the seasons we're calling them. Mm-hmm. We also believe that you are mostly working at a time when coyotes are paired up. Whereas Brian and I, hunting at night in the conditions we'll often find coyotes running around alone at night. Mm-hmm. We have to worry about the downwind. You have to worry about the downwind, but you really have to worry about the downwind visibility of yourself as well, where right. We are cloaked in darkness. Your hunting dogs that are really they're not focused on mating, so they're not running around looking for a mate. They're more focused on their home, what's going on in their house, raising their pups in their den time. Okay, so the last thing I'd say is we also are able to harvest many coyotes from open areas, the center of a field.
Yeah,
find them.
Yep.
You are going to have to do more edge work than we do.
Yeah,
far more edge work.
I'd be really confident to say there's a lot more fringe hunting.
Yep. So we just want to point that out. We're going to talk about some things, some tips and stuff, but we'd really like to hear from you on this one and find out what you've been successful at.
And where are you from?
Yes. What state are you at?
Absolutely.
What are the rules? If you could tell us
your regs. What's your season? Yep. What's your state? Your conditions?
Those poor bastards that have to hunt coyotes in states
mm-hmm.
that do not allow night hunting.
No
night hunting. Not just no lights, no thermal, no hunting coyotes at night. So we are now left with
daytime only for a primarily highest activity levels nocturnal animal.
Yeah, and some of the research I did for my book, I discovered that researchers agree that about 80% of all coyotes are active after dark.
Yep.
And just before sunup.
Yep.
And we've for a long time, we were all kind of programmed to hunt, that hour before and after sunrise, an hour before and after sunset. Yep. And it turns out that actually it's that 10 to 4, where 80% of them are moving around, they're eating. Mm-hmm. So you're now chasing a nocturnal...
AM.
Yes. Yeah. You're now
10 to 4 AM.
Yep. 10 to 4 PM. 10 PM
to 4 AM. Sorry.
So you're now forced to hunt a primarily nocturnal animal during the daytime. Mm-hmm. I gotta imagine that you guys in New Jersey, Massachusetts, Vermont, if you've been successful, especially hunting the eastern coyote in those states, you're probably one of the better predator hunters, coyote hunters in the country. The folks I think that are inside, they're daytime calling in the states we've already mentioned, they have to find the very inside daily movement areas for coyotes. Mm-hmm. They have to be where the coyotes are during the day.
Yeah.
Which is different. It's not we've talked about it before, right? A core area versus a travel area, territorial
area,
it's
home
a
range.
Core area.
Yeah.
They got to be there. Yep. That's mom on a den, dad on a den.
On the fringe. And also when you bring that up, like the den, like dens really don't mean a damn thing at all when we have season here. Mm-hmm. It's that core area of proximity, habitat, and where do they actually call home. Yeah, that we really want to hug those fringes.
And I mentioned 100 to 150 yards. If you're not from this area or from the Northeast, we have woods. We don't have plains. We don't have great big fields. Yeah. They're far and few between.
It's a lot of habitat with minimal agriculture versus you go out west and that's the polar opposite with a lot of agriculture, a lot of visibility with minimal habitat.
Yeah, we have a lot of guys that are very good with shotgun during the day. Mm-hmm. We're not saying that those people don't exist, but it's so much harder. I would recognize the fact that these guys that are doing this, it's a harder sport for them to pursue.
Yeah,
and my hat's off to them
in the daytime.
Yeah,
100%.
You got to be shooting from basically from inside their core area. You got to locate them, and it's going to be those edge transitions, the field to
fringe.
Fringe, very much so. Yep. From thick cover to the open field.
Yep.
we're out at night with a thermal. We can see 2,000 yards away and identify a coyote 800 yards away. And you're trying to do that during the daytime with no thermal. Another place for transitions would be on places like mine, hardwood to like swamp or swamp to hardwood. It's these transition areas where you're going to catch them, where they're in these day people, they're covering bedding areas, travel corridors. What do coyotes do when coyotes are doing coyote daytime things?
Sleeping, chilling.
You got to get them up.
Yeah. Wake them up, peak interest.
Yeah, you got to get on the downside of their bedding areas, south-facing slopes. For finding dens. Funnel points, logging roads. We use a lot of that during the nighttime too. But
absolutely.
Far more likely to go. There's a coyote. They're running everywhere.
When the lights go out, they're already on their feet.
In the past, you've talked about using wind as a system and not a direction.
Right.
Now, I'm going to say a few things that may or may not make sense, may or not be correct, and we're going to let Brian build on that.
Okay.
As when I first got started, I would say it was a misconception that you should call into the wind be blowing in your face. That was the idea of playing the wind for many people.
Downwind is right behind you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is...
I don't like it.
No, we're not. My gun's not pointed that way.
A head-on wind on the approach is good, but from you calling and becoming the destination point of where the coyote wants to come from.
Yeah, you're calling into the wind. Yeah.
I don't want a head-on wind. I love a crosswind. Love a crosswind. And the reason for loving the crosswind is, hypothetically, if my approach is into the wind, and then my calling stand, I still am calling into the wind, what kind of habitat is behind me? So I've said this so many times because it's that important. When you're vocally communicating to a mammal, you start the conversation, they hear it, they want to see it, and when they can't see it because we had a diligent approach as a hunter, instinctually they want to smell it. So what is to my downwind? My downwind is right behind me and there's absolutely nothing. There's just complete open field, habitat. There's absolutely nothing behind me. That mammal doesn't have the security of cover to come from where that animal is located to skirt around to get to the downwind. I like having that crosswind because it's more inviting for the animal to hear it than they want to see it, but now they want to smell it. It's way more inviting for that animal to actually break cover instead of trying to do a huge loop to get around you.
I mean, we know for a fact, if you can't see your downwind, you can't hunt.
Right.
So why would you be calling into the wind?
The reason you're calling into the wind is...
I mean, why would that be it's a misinterpretation.
Right.
It's a misnomer
so,
or whatever.
The guy that says you never want to hunt with anything other than a wind hitting you in the face is the guy that was successful on an isolated incident that had a hard charging coyote that disregarded its sense of security, and that's his gospel.
And we know the purpose of using the wind as a direction is to get the coyote to expose himself to you.
Yes. Yeah. I can't get a coyote to expose myself. I can't get I can't get a coyote to expose itself when I don't have eyes in the back of my head when I'm trying to communicate to the habitat that's in front of me.
Yeah. I mean, your downwind side it's open.
Yeah.
It's visible to you.
Yes.
And it is a shootable zone.
I need to be able to see all of my downwind.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The calling strategy for daytime, I'm going to run perilously close to this idea of use this call for this number of minutes and use this number of pauses for X number of minutes. That's not a good strategy.
I don't like it.
The idea, though, is that, first of all, they still will likely... I'm assuming that if it's in season, they're going to do what season things do. They're going to come to prey distress calls as normal, and during mating season, come to mating even during the daytime.
Yep.
But a lot of these states that have daytime only calling allow all year calling.
Yeah.
Other than, mouse squeaks, rodent squeaks, what are you using in April to call, or April, May, or June? So during springtime we have pup rearing.
Yeah.
Or is it pup? It's pup rearing until dispersal.
Yeah.
What am I missing? What's the season before pup rearing? It's denning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denning prior, rearing,
and we know how there is a system for finding the den.
And also don't forget, this is an animal that is not a pack animal.
Right.
It's family groups.
Yep.
And family groups do not play well with other family groups.
Yeah, so
this is my house, this is my area, this is my core area, this is my home range, and you may have slight overlapping home ranges, but core areas belong to every single individual family group.
Yeah, if you get into core area and howl, or if you howl outside of one, you may get the male to respond back with a bark or howl, challenge howl.
Yeah.
And that will give you an idea. And then you can, 100-yard creep in and maybe find that den that's occupied.
Yeah.
The core area.
Yeah.
So mom's underground, pop's going to be probably elevated in a position of cover.
And this is something else to bring up.
Sanctuary of cover.
Yep. Dad is an active, willing participant during the denning season.
Yep.
He's actively hunting, bringing food back, taking care of mom. Mom's milking the pups.
Yep.
He is not your whitetail buck breeding every single doe. And then you have your bachelor buck groups, and then you have your family groups of doe. Moms are taking care of the kids, and the dads are just hanging out at the bar. That's not the case with coyotes.
Yeah, and mom is not in there the whole time. She can't.
Yeah.
She will come out for food. She will come out for water. I know that your best odds of that are like the first hour and a half after sunup.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to make a direct line.
Yep.
And often accompanied by her male.
Yeah. Bodyguard.
But just for a short period of time, that den is open. Now, nobody's hunting the den.
Some might.
Well, I mean, but nobody's hunting the den. There's no way to uncover it unless mom's there and will respond to you, or dad's going to respond to you.
Right.
So they're kind of protected that way. And it's a very short trip for them. She's getting water, food. She's coming back. She's probably not even really looking for food, but water.
Yeah. Dad's bringing that back for her.
Yep. But if you can get within range of their core area to disturb them with a call, a howl, they will at least let you know they're there.
Yeah.
Because you're in their kitchen.
You pissed in their Cheerios. You're in the bedroom.
My German Shepherd just did this a few days ago, we believe, chasing one of the males or females back into an area, into their core area. As soon as they reached that area, we knew it. We knew they were very defensive, barking about it.
Yeah.
If you do encounter this, I know for a fact, if during the daytime you howl and you hear off in the distance a response, you move forward to cut the distance. As Brian would say, I would say get closer. But I don't have boots on the ground. He does. But the closer you get to that, and you howl again, and you get closer. If you're able to get close enough, when you're actually seen by the female, and I believe by the male, when they actually see you, they will tell you where that den is, just out of instinct. They will look at you, and look back to the den, and then look at you, and then they're going to try to get you off that spot. You know, they're not,
they are now trying to lead you away.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And we've seen that in nature with birds faking injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. Us, Absolutely.
So for calling strategies, it's still going to be season dependent, except you and I don't call. I'm not going to.
We legally can't audibly molest, call, do anything
April
with coyotes
till August,
from
right? August.
April through the very last day of September.
Yeah, yeah. So we're not. That would be
it's
unwise of us to suggest a calling sequence, but we can.
It's basically a 6-month hunting season, which is amazing for as regulated as New York State is. When the season opens,
it's the best in the country.
It is the best. The lack of restrictions. We have magazine capacity restrictions. We can't hunt with a suppressor. We're very limited on the type of firearm that we have with firearm restrictions. But when it actually comes to an open season, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nighttime, daytime, no caliber restrictions, depending on archery only areas for whitetail. But I don't have to deal with that where I live. You don't have to deal with that with where you live. If it's an archery only area, that's really the only thing that we have to deal with.
No, I mean,
But
we can't use suppressors.
yeah,
But we're actually living in a time where the for our AR style rifles are illegal in New York State.
Yeah.
Those of us that still have them that are registered with the state police now. We guys like me, I don't take an AR
I don't.
to the field.
Bolt action.
No, it's bolt action.
All day.
Even the non-tungsten bullets, they cost money.
Yeah.
And there is a certain amount of fun and pride in putting one well-aimed round at a dog you've learned enough to predict where it's going to go and how to make it stop.
Yeah.
But again, back to these day people. We've already admitted we're food's still an option. Prey calls are still an option. But intruder in my area.
Yeah.
I mean, they got babies.
Yeah.
You know, and every animal's going to be far more defensive over its pups and cubs than it will be.
No doubt.
Benefit for us nighttime hunters. Camouflage, we don't wear it.
Don't care. Wear your favorite Santa suit.
Yeah.
It's dark out.
And there is an idea that you can hunt in a Santa suit during the daytime too.
Yeah.
But I, as a hunter at night, coyote hunter, I'm in what I consider to be, and I use this term, not many people do, the sanctuary of cover. That I feel the darkness envelops me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
During the daytime, you do have to wear camouflage.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, you can't camouflage, at least in stillness. We can move around a lot, shift, cut distance. You know,
you get away with
other people
can get away with a lot when the lights go out.
Yep, they can't see us.
Yeah,
they only have this.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
And we can beat that.
Yeah.
During the daytime, they got this.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how these guys get away with what they do. I mean, it's a hard way to make a living. You know.
Brought this up in one of our turkey talk videos. No affiliations, but products that we use. I have a Tenzig name brand turkey vest, and I use that for predator hunting. It's a kickstand vest. So when we have an agricultural field, typically what's on the edge of ag is tall grass, and then you have the obstruction. You have the wood line, you have the stone wall fence, but almost always between the edge of ag to something comfortable to lean against when you're sitting on the ground, there's going to be tall grass. So you find the wood's edge, you can't see through the tall grass. So that's really where a kickstand vest, Tenzig, that's the name brand I use. I think my model is not made anymore, so I hope it never breaks because I really like it. Alps is another one, ALPS. They make a really good kickstand vest. That kickstand vest has legs on the back. You fold them out, and then you have something comfortable to lean against. Daytime, we're bipods on a rifle instead of a tripod. I have started to gravitate more towards using the tripod mounted to the rifle and a shooting stool in the daytime. You're a little bit higher. It gives you better perspective. You still have a really, really, really good solid anchor point shooting off of a tripod. It does give you some better elevation. But when we were doing this in the daytime years ago, it was strictly bipod and a kickstand vest and something to lean against. And we were always super successful doing this. Comfort, like turkey hunting, just having that comfort level of sitting and just getting a really, really good anchor point. Topography, try to get the high side and make sure you can see the downwind side was definitely the most important part. Crosswind, that's what we want. I don't want the wind hitting me in the face. And then even some scenarios where the wind's hitting us in the back of the head. And preaching this in multiple videos because it really is that important. As long as the wind is not blowing into the habitat that you're calling into, go ahead and call the stand. If that wind's hitting me in the back of the head, I have habitat off to the left or I have habitat off to the right, but there's absolutely nothing but 1,000 yards of open field in front of me. If that animal comes out of the habitat left or right, it wants to gravitate to my downwind, and that's my broadside shot. So depending on wind direction is going to dictate how you actually sit. You know where you want to call from, but how you want to sit. Like that's a lot of movement. If I have a crosswind going from my left to right and my habitat is off to the left and I have a very high expectation, that's where the coyote's going to come from. I don't want to face the habitat to my left because if I have a crosswind going from my left to right, instinctually that coyote wants to come from habitat to see what it hears and it can't. Now it's going to want to smell it. So that coyote is going to gravitate to my right. So I'm actually going to face a little offset to my right to orient my body, most importantly, the lower portion of my body, especially when you're sitting in the daytime. I'm going to offset my shot so I'm aimed slightly to my right. And if I do have that hard charging coyote that comes out of the habitat from my left, it's to my strong side. I don't have to move the lower portion of my body. If I aim at that habitat, and most of those coyotes do those coyote things of they hear it, then they want to see it, now they want to smell it, and they're doing that downwind loop to get around to get to your downwind side. I can't move my body to the right without moving my whole entire lower body. So how you actually sit during the daytime is as important as where you sit, but how you sit. I've had this conversation with many of customers, and I don't want to hold myself to this bar up here, but I am so confident to say this out loud where we live in our area, our state, our regulations, our season, and being as proficient as we are, if we were put into any other state, mm-hmm. we're going to kick it in the ass. If you take one of those hunters from out west and try to stick them up in our area, they're going to drive the struggle bus. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have a very, very hard time with what they are used to versus what we are used to. And I really think that makes us that much more proficient because we do have to work that much harder. Mm-hmm. It's not kind of cocky. It's very cocky of me to say that. But I have hunted in the West. Mm-hmm. I have hunted in the Midwest. I have pursued those animals. And I've had those conversations with those proficient hunters that have struggled a little bit. And then I've gone out and killed them. Mm-hmm. So putting myself into those scenarios versus that hunter coming into our area, I'm really confident to say all the time and years of experience of doing what we do works everywhere.
And then you take the guy who can only do that during the daytime.
Yeah.
And I would say he could hunt anywhere. He could hunt anywhere. Mm-hmm. That's the guy who's mastered all of the skills.
Yes. Concealment, quiet approach, anticipating what that animal's actually going to do when you call and you've become that destination point.
You have
what is that animal doing and what does it want to do when it hears a sound?
You got to be really motivated. My hat's off to you if you're hunting coyotes in a daytime only situation.
Yeah. Yep.
I bet you're probably if you're successful at it, I bet you're one of the top 10%.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So we wish you good luck, and if you could offer us any tips, we do hunt during the daytime up here. Mm-hmm. More woods than anything else.
Yep.
And I've caught a few at my place, just running out of the woods to chase after animals. Only what's is they're very easy to shoot during the daytime. But yeah, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, something that's definitely helped us in the past few years is that technology change with thermals, using them in the daytime. You're like just a handheld monocular. You're gonna see that heat signature in that monocular before you ever see it to the human eye, and that's been a huge help. But God, all of those years before the technology change of just looking for those subtle movements or that coyote breaking cover and coming out into a field. And
yeah, I guess you could say we could say this: if you think hunting them during the daytime is hard, try hunting them with a red light that only finds their eyes at night.
Yeah, and
that's how we all got started. Just a simple red light on a rifle. That was, I'll tell you what though.
Your adrenaline the whole time.
It was a lot more fun. These restrictions often make the fun, make the sport have fun.
The technology change may just like lowered it.
Yeah, if it gets
a little,
the easier it gets, the less fun it is.
Yeah.
But when you were scanning with a red light, which I'm sure is just, I'm positive, it's just the same as scanning during the daytime. We only get those little orbs, little red orbs. And if you missed them for a second, or the coyote was slightly off to you, didn't see it. So you were constantly scanning, which is probably what you're doing during daytime.
Yeah.
Scan.
Looking. Binoculars, all daytime stuff back then.
That you could sit there for 45 minutes, and that was a new stand every 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Now we go out with these thermals, and you think, oh man, it must be great. Yeah, you can tell in 2 minutes if there's nothing there for a mile away. And you got to drive again.
Yep.
It kind of kills stuff, but...
A little.
Good luck. And,
success rate goes up.
Yeah.
But excitement